Hi Chelsea fans, Chels Daft back here with another one of my videos and the second part of my three-part mini-series looking ahead to the Premier League season starting. Yesterday was all about the Chelsea squad. It'll be linked at the end of this particular video, so make sure you look out for that if you've missed it. Today we're going to focus on what is arguably our strongest 11, and it's something that I think everyone's going to have an opinion on. It's going to probably develop and change over the course of a season. But we just need to look at what we've got currently and where we think we're strong and what is the strongest options. And that includes the new players, if they walk straight into the team or not. So we're going to get into this in a little bit more detail as we go through each position. Come and have your say in the comment section below. Smash the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Like this one. Let's get cracking. So as it stands, Edouard Mendy still hasn't signed. So we have to do the video based on what we've got right now. And at the moment, Kepa's probably the strongest option that we've got. When Edouard Mendy comes in, if he's signed before the end of the window, if he's signed maybe the next couple of days or beginning of next week, he will provide stiff competition for Kepa. But at the moment, you're going to have to say Kepa is the number one, despite the fact he lost his position in the team. I just still think that if Chelsea wanted Kepa out, they would have worked something to do with a loan move. And the fact that he's still here, I think, speaks volumes. So Kepa, I think, will be given another chance. So he's in as a number one currently. If Mendy comes in, that could change. It could be Mendy. As I said, the actual strongest 11 will probably change, chop and change throughout the course of the season. But goalkeeper, that's what we've got currently. He's in. So let's start with right back, Reece James and Cesar Azpilicueta. And based on last season, with the problems in our defence and the leaky defence, I think Thiago Silva's signing is massive because of his wealth of experience. And I think that's what's key for Frank Lampard this season. To stall out defensively with a settled, experienced lineup, to then build on that as the cornerstone for the rest of the team to go forward. As a result of that, I think that Reece James will be the one that misses out, and Cesar Azpi is in the strongest 11 based on pure defensive ability and experience. Reece James is better going forward. His end product is much, much better. But when you look at this team that we're going to put up here, we've got so much more creative players this time around that you're not necessarily relying on the fullbacks to deliver in the final third. Reece James had an outstanding season and he will be Chelsea's future. He will play a huge part this season. The strongest 11, you're going to go with Azpi because of the experience side of things. One of the best one-on-one defenders there is in the game. That can't be underestimated. And Azpi gets the nod. If you have a different opinion, post it in the comment section below. Centre-back pairings. Now this is where it becomes a little bit difficult. And Frank Lampard has done his press conference this afternoon. It's interesting to say that he still sees Tomori as part of his plans. He still sees him as someone that if he works hard and gives the dedication that he gave when he was playing for him at Derby and at different points last season, he could be there in the mix to start games. It's not yet a done deal he's going to go to Everton. So Tomori's in the mix. Tony Rudiger's in the mix. Andreas Christensen's in the mix. Kurt Zouma and Thiago Silva. But you have to say you've got to go Thiago Silva playing in the back four. So it's Silva plus one. So out of those four centre-backs, who plays next to Thiago Silva in the strongest 11? Andreas Christensen, I've said it before, I think he's reached the level. I think he's reached the ceiling where he's not going to improve anymore. I think he's at a consistent standard, but is that good enough for what we want? I think there's times he's been found out, as with every other defender that we've got. And I just think that if push comes to shove, Christensen doesn't get a look in. And I think he's on the bench. So Christensen's out. Tony Rudiger, for me, disappointing towards the end of last season. Been out injured, I understand that. But I keep saying it on my channel, he's too erratic. He always plays on the edge. As soon as there's a little bit of argy-bargy, he wants to get involved. I think sometimes leaves his position, needs to be more disciplined. I just don't think he's consistent enough. He's erratic, as I keep saying, and I just don't see him as part of our strongest 11, and that says a lot, really, bearing in mind last season Christensen and Rudiger were the starting pairing for me. So Rudiger, Christensen's out of it. So for me, it's between Tomori and Kurt Zouma. Tomori has done great. Playing next to Kurt Zouma, had his moments, again, as they all did. And something's happened there along the line with Frank, so he's not really considered. He's not been involved at all. So you have to say at this point in time, Tomori's not involved either. So Kurt Zouma for me is the one. Everyone's saying Zouma Silva partnership. Kurt Zouma's come on leaps and bounds. He was outstanding last season. Yes, he made mistakes, but his use of the ball has got so much better. He's physical in the right way. He's not. He always seems to play sort of with a calm exterior. He doesn't go flying in. He doesn't get involved in any argy-bargy like Rudiger would. And I just think that connection with the speaking French next to Silva, I know it's a little thing, but I just think that Zouma's an imposing player. If you think of that combination, Zouma and Silva, Zouma's the one that will go challenge forward. He'll be the one in the air winning challenges. Silva will mop up behind him in tandem. It will work perfectly, hopefully. And having Silva talking to him next to him is massive for his positioning, for his movement. And I've said it before, Thiago Silva coming in makes perfect sense, because what he'll do with the coaching team is he'll implement a defensive philosophy, how to move, when to move, and we'll take that forward even when Silva's not here. So that's why Silva's a great sign-in. So for me at the moment, looking at Kepa, Aspi, Zouma, Silva, now left back. With the investment in Ben Chilwell for 50 million, you have to go Ben Chilwell starting. He's a better defender than Marcos Alonso. He's a better defender than Emerson. Going forward, Chilwell's impressive, influential in the final third, as Marcos Alonso is. Yes, Chilwell scored a few goals. He scored a cracker at Watford, if we all remember, last season. Alonso he doesn't get enough credit for his use of the ball, his ability with the ball and the skill that he's got. And he gets himself into positions to make assists, to score goals. And I think that if we're looking at playing a three-man defence with wing-backs, Alonso will start ahead of Chilwell. But we're going to go with a back four in this strongest 11, and that's Chilwell at left back. So that's the defensive unit and the goalkeeper's set. Let's now move into midfield. So I'm going to look at a 4-3-3. Rather than do a 4-2-3-1, we're going to go 4-3-3 because that was the formation that was mainly used by Frank Lampard last season. If you're going to do the 4-2-3-1, then all you'll do is take one of the midfield three, push them further forward, and I'll get into that in a second when we go through the options. So first and foremost, N'Golo Kante's in. A fully fit and firing N'Golo Kante is the world's best in that position. He's not going to play just in front of the back four. He plays in that midfield position, but patrols that area better than anybody else. And outstanding player. Kante is in the middle. Based on last season's performance, Mateo Kovacic, outstanding. I said it was an outstanding signing when we made that signing, the loan move. We saw it towards the end of his first season when he was here under Sarri, and we saw it last year. His ability to pick up the ball deep and transition through tackles, through challenges, and start Chelsea attacks has been so influential in our play. And Mateo Kovacic is outstanding. He works his arse off every single game. In his own half, also in the final third, Kovacic is in next to Kante. So this is where it gets interesting. The third midfielder, classed as a box-to-box or attacking midfielder, and look at the options you've got available. Mason Mount, Ross Barkley, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Kai Havertz in particular. Jorginho's not in the equation for me. I think he's going to go before the end of the window, but he's not that sort of a player. He'll play as the backup to N'Golo Kante. He won't see much football this season. Ross Barkley, I think we can rule out, so I don't think he's done enough. He's not consistent enough and hasn't done enough. Ruben Loftus-Cheek needs a full season injury-free to be given his chance, get into the team and prove what he can do, because we all know he is more than capable. He's outstanding, an outstanding individual. He'll still get his games this season with some rotation, but I don't think Ruben Loftus-Cheek at the moment, based on where we're at right now, makes it into the starting 11. So it's between Mason Mount and Kai Havertz. That's the problem everyone's going to have. People are saying, or there was all this talk and conjecture that Mason Mount's not happy because Kai Havertz has been signed. What a load of old tosh. Frank Lampard has laughed it off as well. Could we see them both play together, or will it be one or the other? That's the interesting thing. Even as a number 10, so if you take them from the midfield 3 position, playing slightly deeper and push them further forward into a number 10, you still have to say one or the other, based on the fact you've got Christian Pulisic and Hakim Ziyech either side. A little bit of an inkling as to who I'm going to pick in the final third, by the way, but we'll get into that in just a second. So Mount and Havertz is the big debate, and I think that debate is going to rage for most of this season. Mason Mount, outstanding last season, absolutely brilliant last season, and I wouldn't be surprised if Conte still has his injury problems. It'll be Kovacic, Mount and Havertz playing together with Kovacic as the 3. But strongest possible 11, influencing from midfield, and you have to take in consideration Kai Havertz's transfer fee. Is Kai Havertz walking straight into that Chelsea team in the strongest 11, or do you go Mason Mount? How much of an influence is Mason Mount on Frank Lampard's team? How much of an influence is he in midfield in general? Look what he did for England the other day when he come on. He changed the course of the game, tracked back, worked hard. Will Kai Havertz be prepared to do that? That's the side of the game that we haven't really seen much of, and we have to take it into consideration. Now, also the fact that Frank Lampard on the Chelsea website has spoken of Havertz and the fact we need to give people time to come in and settle into the Premier League. This is probably going to shock a few people, but I'm going to go Mason Mount. So my midfield 3 is the 3 that's already here. Conte, Kovacic, Mount. Havertz on the bench to start with. But that, as I say, it can change. It could just evolve over the course of the season. The strongest 11 right now, based on what we've got available, experience, knowledge, Mason Mount over Kai Havertz at the moment. That's the midfield 3 sorted. Let's move into the attacking areas. And I've already given you a bit of a spoiler. So we're going to go right to left, right-hand side, Hakim Ziyech, without question. He's going to be in there, coming inside on that wand of a left foot that he's got. He can also play as a number 10. Christian Pulisic on the left-hand side. He can come across and play number 10. He can play on the right. Callum Hudson-Odoi can play left. He can play right. Not so much as a number 10. He can play either side. You have to say that Mason Mount and Kai Havertz can cover in the wide areas if called upon. But is that maybe an area where we're a little bit lacking another winger? Natural winger in the squad even, maybe. So Hakim Ziyech all day long, right hand side, he's in. Christian Pulisic, outstanding last season. We've seen glimpses of what he can do. He's much more consistent than Callum Hudson-Odoi. Callum Hudson-Odoi needs to work hard and be more consistent and play well, much more consistently. He needs to sort of influence games in longer spells rather than what he does sort of now and again. I'm sure you guys will understand what I'm saying. I'm not calling the guy out. He's got immense talent. He just needs to show it more and more consistent, if you know what I mean. So that's the 2. Up top, Olivier Giroud, Tammy, Timo Werner. 2 biggest problems Chelsea had, or we say 3 biggest problems Chelsea had last year, was a leaky defence, a lack of creativity at times, and a lack of goals. We've sorted out our defence for the transfer window. We've sorted out our creativity issues. Ziyech, Pulisic, Havertz, Mount, and now goals. Tammy Abraham, brilliant season for him. First full season in the Premier League as a Chelsea player. 16 goals, was it? 17 goals? Outstanding performance. The thing is, I think we're all agreed that Tammy's still not the complete package, if you know what I mean. He needs to do more with this frame. He needs to win more balls in the air. He needs to be stronger. He needs to hold off challenges and be the link man that Olivier Giroud is. Does Olivier Giroud, at the start of this season, when we look at our strongest possible 11, make it into the team? He doesn't. But that might change. And I'm talking about the fact that it evolves throughout the course of the season. Think of when we had Willian and Hazard in the 4-3-3. They're always looking for the link man, someone to play off of up front. If that's the way that our play begins to develop this season, you'll see Giroud play a lot more because he is that link man. But he talked the other day of having a different profile to Timo Werner and Tammy. That's exactly right. Giroud is the link man. He's someone that can bully defenders. He can hold the ball up and play other people in. He can create something from nothing by himself. We've seen the ability he's got with the ball at his feet. He gives you much more of a complete all-round package compared to Tammy Abraham. But Tammy, as I say, much more mobile. Great season last year, but needs to do more. And he's one that's prepared to. He's more the sort of type of centre forward where he's looking to get in behind, rather than be the hold-up play, be the link man. He's much more mobile. But Tammy, outstanding. And then you've got new signing Timo Goals Werner, who literally guarantees you goals. Can play left, can cut inside, pacey, two-footed, killer instinct. And you have to say that Timo Werner will get the nod. He is the strongest because he's mobile, he's quick, but he's predatory. Tammy, not quite predatory yet, but Timo is. And I think that's the difference when it comes to out and out goal scoring ability. Tammy's done it from a young age coming through. And I guess the way we play will dictate who starts. But for me at the moment, you have to say Timo Werner's in, purely because of his record and the fact that I think he's going to take the Premier League by storm. Someone that's got a God-given ability to just put that ball in the back of the net from all angles with both feet. So Timo Werner gets in. So that's my strongest 11. Do you agree with me? Post your comments, comment section below. But just to recap, 4-3-3 formation. It is this: Kepa, Cesar Azpilicueta, Thiago Silva, Kurt Zuma, Ben Chilwell, N'Golo Conte, Mateo Kovacic, Mason Mount, Hakim Ziyech, Christian Pulisic, and Timo Werner. Do you agree? Do you have a different idea, different opinion? If you do, post your comment section below. Smash the like button for me and subscribe to the channel, and make sure you don't miss when my videos come out. This is the second of a 3-part series. Come back tomorrow when we're going to talk about the level of expectation from this Chelsea squad this season as the bare minimum, the benchmark. Make sure you check out the first episode, which is linked here as well if you missed it yesterday. Thank you for watching. See you all tomorrow.